What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens episode review. Today, guys, we are going to be going over episode 13, the conclusion to Yuga versus Roa, and the introduction to Otis. Guys, I am very excited to be talking about this. This is probably my favorite episode from all of the episodes we've gotten so far. I've been doing episode rankings for episodes 1 and 10. This might be my favorite episode, not only from 10 to now, but I think it's my favorite episode from all 13 episodes that we got so far, and I cannot wait to talk about this episode with you guys. So let's not waste any time and let's get into it. So again, I really did like this episode. This was a very interesting episode. So we begin the duel. We remember what happened in the last episode with that huge cliffhanger. Yuga drew Seven's Road Magician, and everyone was thinking, oh, Roa wins. He gets the ownership of Rush Duels. Even Kaizo was about to call him being disqualified because he mentions the 666 thing again. And then out of nowhere, the relic, if you guys remember from episode 1, or from episode 6, technically, when Yuga and the gang and Mitsuboro went down and they saw the relic had disappeared, the relic reappeared in this episode, and the man, which we do find his name is Otis, which I want to quickly say something real quick, and I don't know the people that subbed it, because I think it was fan dubbed again. I don't know what happened to the people that were dubbing it before, but this was another fan dub. They did a lot better than the last episode, but they spelled it O-T-E-S, and this is just a minor gripe that I had with it. It was spelled O-T-I-S in the in the like cast list, so I don't know which one is right anymore. I feel like these people watched my video and they know that I did not want to believe this, so to taunt me, they put this O-T-E-S thing. Obviously, that's not the case, but that's what it just feels like to me. I feel like they kind of have some gripe with me or something like that, but he spelled his name that way when he introduced himself, I guess. Though actually there is something. I'm jumping all over the place again, but that's alright. Before that, Khan is back in this episode. I mean, he wasn't in the last episode, but he came back in this episode, and we get a flashback scene, which is very interesting, and I really like this because I thought it was really cool. The relics had like 7 different like lines on the on the relic, and basically what they did was they took the 7 parts and put them together, and it was this weird shape, and I couldn't even tell at first until the subs, but it was actually the Seven's Hell Hall building. Like, you see that big sign in front of it. This basically confirmed that Otis was going to appear in this, and this is why Roa decides to choose this place as the place to actually host this 3v3 duel, because we do learn this episode that, and it was something I actually missed and I did not know, Roa was in the flashback. I mean, it makes sense because he actually had the scene from the flashback, so it was kind of interesting. And can I just talk about this real quick before we got into that? The wall just breaks, and then you have Yugioh riding this weird bike thing like he was a biker, and he brings the newspaper club with them because basically they did some research and were able to pull the old video that Otis actually had talked about a little bit earlier, because they were actually trying to prove that Seven's Road Magician actually is a legal card. Roa set it up to where the point where it was actually illegal. He made it to where it was illegal. I don't remember exactly what the thing was that they did, but they basically made it to where it looked like Seven's Road Magician was illegal. But Yugioh just busts through the wall, and his mom notices him immediately. You got this big old like older kind of voice, and then Rook mentions his name, and then you just hear that normal voice, and I actually laughed again in this episode. I mean, these last 2 episodes have actually really gotten me to laugh. I'm not even gonna kid. Like, the last time I laughed at it was in the last episode when Mitsuboro came out of nowhere. Again, I didn't read the summary or watch the episode prior. I don't think I watched that episode live, so I think that was just kind of funny. No, I did watch that one live. I didn't read the summary and the cast list until I watched the episode because I kind of did a little bit of backtracking, but anyway, so we do learn that Roa was in that flashback. The reason why he, was kind of wanting to do all this because he didn't know why he wasn't the chosen one. He was at the same event. He had the same ideals. He didn't like the whole rule set, which something that I'm getting a really bad vibe about, and I hope I'm wrong in this, but I think this is going to be the case. I don't think we're going to be seeing any Master Duels in the series, and let me know if you guys think that I'm wrong about that. Do you think there is still going to be a Master Duel later on? Just from the sound of it, and even at the end of the episode, which I'll talk about a little bit later, I don't think we're going to be getting Master Duels at all, which is kind of disappointing if I'm going to be completely honest. I really do like the card game. I've been doing this for 20 years now. Even with, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and Yu-Gi-Oh! Reigns, they had different types. Well, I guess they were a little bit more similar. I think the difference was that, like, you had to use a speed spell, and then, like, you had to have speed spell cards, and then you had to have speed roll up on the field. While in the speed duel, I guess you had to have the 3 zones, and then you got a skill, but everything else was the same, I guess. So I guess they were the same with Rush Duels. It's basically a completely different game. I mean, you get to summon whatever you want. You use different cards, so yeah, I guess I understand. And looking through a lot of the flashbacks, they have Rush Duel cards, which is something I'm going to have to talk about because I don't know if it's because they lazily did it or something like that, because it's really confusing when you look at these flashback scenes and you see them using Rush Duel cards, but Rush Duels was not a thing until Yuga made it. So how are these guys using Rush Duel cards? I'm just saying, guys, but I'm getting a little bit loud about that. But anyway, basically he was in the flashback and he was behind him. He was admired by Otis, and when Otis threw the card and he saw that Yuga caught it, he was very confused because he thought he would have been the chosen one. He wants to be the king of duels. And also Rook in this episode. Otis basically tells Yuga that he is going to be the king of duels, and he's like, me too, I'm going to be the king of duels. Like, no, me, and me too. It's like, oh my gosh, Rook, come on. Like, they really do shame Rook, and I kind of feel bad, and especially since Rook is probably my favorite character from the entire cast. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. Or Roa. I guess Roa has been really interesting. But, basically, he wanted to be that chosen one, and that's kind of what this whole duel was all about. So, yeah, and then basically Otis set a stipulation that if Yuga wins, he cannot be the king of duels, which, I mean, I guess that made it more in the state that Yuga was gonna win this duel, which he does win this duel. Honestly, I'm not really shocked. I mean, I would have been more shocked if Roa win, because, well, I guess more drama result actually than Roa. I knew Roa had no chance of winning this duel. I just don't think it would have made any sense from the win. I think a draw, no result could have happened, but I'm not surprised that Yuga did win this duel. But the dueling action, though, I will quickly say something that I was kind of a little bit upset about. And this is more of a personal gripe. I haven't really talked about the OCG or the TCG on this channel, really. But in the second Rush Duel pack, I think it was like Shocking Lightning, or Lightning Strike, excuse me, I think is what it was called. One of the cover cards, you had Yuga and Ro on there, and then you had this monster. The monster's name is Lightning Condor, and I thought this was going to be the episode because it made sense with Yuga and Ro being on the cover that, oh, maybe this monster's going to be summoned in this episode. No, this monster's not summoned at all. I don't even think it was in his hand. So that was kind of disappointing. However, though, we get to see Sevens Road Mage, which it's really interesting. So Otis created the Sevens Road Magician, but because of the roads that Yuga created, he was able to make these other forms of the 7 roads. So like 7 roads Witch and 7 roads Mage. So I think that kind of parallel is really cool, but let's get into the duel. So Yuga so it was the start of Yuga's turn. He gets Sevens Road Witch on the field, uses her effect to special summon Sevens Road Magician. He goes on an assault after activating his effect, and he goes in attack. He's about to win, but Um, and I actually remember his deck pretty well. I really do like Roa's deck a lot. It was like a Royal Demons deck, I believe, is what the monsters were called. I couldn't remember what the monsters were called in the last episode, but he activates King's Dignity, which was able to negate the direct attack by returning one of his demon keys on. It was the G one. I can't remember what it was, like Dolphy or something like that. He returns it to his deck to negate the direct attack. It goes to his turn, and he does some crazy turn because he summons two monsters. He tributes one, summons a level 5 monster, activates his effect to return a level 6 monster to his hand, tributes it, summons that level 6 monster. I think he's able to add another card, I believe. Then he tributes both of the monsters, and my god, the summoning music for this. I don't think we had like a lyrics to a like summoning in a very, very long time. Probably since like 5Ds or something like that. I think 5Ds was the last series I remember kind of doing that, and it was incredible. I loved it. It was probably my favorite summoning chant out of all, more so because of the music, or like the summoning, because the music just fits so well with kind of Roa, because he was like the lead singer and everything. I think it just fit it perfectly, and it was so cool to see it. I'm gonna be completely honest. He summons Royal Demon Heavy Metal, which looks incredible. I actually do like his ace monster. I prefer Yami Ruler and Dragonic Slayer, and even Rush Dragon Dragears just a little bit more than it, but it's a really cool ace monster, and its effect is pretty good actually or at least I think it is. I don't really know how rush duels really work, but it's able to target a monster on Yuga's field and basically gain all of its attack points and destroy the monster it targets. So it destroys Sevens Road Witch, it gains 1600 attack, goes to attack Sevens Road Magician with the two ace monsters going at each other. Yuga's about to lose, he activates a trap to negate some damage. I think he lowered his opponent's monster's attack points by 500, so that he has 500 life points to survive. He goes into his turn, and he draws Sevens Road Mage and some other monsters. He summons two monsters, activates one of the monster's effects to bring Sevens Road back from the graveyard to his hand, tributes two monsters, summons it back to the field again. So, well, first, Roa activates a trap. I can't remember this one. It's a king card. I just can't remember what the name of it was. But he activates a trap, which basically negates Sevens Road effect, because he was about to activate the effect again, because if he can activate the effect, it wouldn't gain 1800 attack points because it has 6 attributes in the graveyard. But he's able to negate that damage, or no, not negate the damage, but he was able to negate its effect. So he summons Sevens Road Mage to the field, which really cool summoning animation. I'm not gonna lie, I really did like its summoning animation. It did remind me a lot of Sevens Road Magician, or summoning like the first time, like when you would have like this 7 like kind of I don't know what they would call like shines on there. It looked like a clover for some reason. I don't know why, but maybe it was just because it was green. But he summons the monster. He activates the effect to make the monster lose, I think, 400 attack points. I could be wrong about that. Then makes Sevens Road gain that amount of attack points. Is able to attack the heavy metal, destroys it, attacks with Sevens Road Mage, and Yuga then wins the duel, which I thought it was very weird. I got very concerned for a second, because when Sevens Road Mage went to attack, he stomps on the ground, and then Roa just falls through the ground, and I literally jumped off of my seat because I didn't know what in the world just happened, because he literally just fell through a hole. And I think it was just symbolizing that he passed out after a duel. And then like they're all celebrating, he sits up, and he's like, I can't remember the dialogue, but like Yuga puts out his hand. He doesn't take his hand. He grabs the mice, and he gives them applause for Yuga and co. And then this is where it starts to really get interesting closer to the episode, because something we do learn earlier that I didn't mention with Otis was that Otis actually works for Goha. And that was very interesting. The fact that this man is a fugitive, because we've learned after this duel, Goha officials just swarmed the field with Mimi being in charge to try to capture him, but he was a hologram, so obviously nothing was going to happen. And they weren't able to catch him. The relic and him were gone. Like, everything disappeared. So it really is interesting to see what he's all about, what in the world is going on with him, why it seems like he's defying Mr. Goha in a way. So I'm kind of interested to see their kind of relationship, if they have any, because, well, obviously they have to have some sort of like connection, because I think it's really weird that this Goa official is breaking its own rules, wanting to create this new style to kind of like make more kids more happy in it and not make it feel like a dull game. Like, it gets so complicated to the point where it's not fun anymore for these kids in this anime. So, and even in the real life too, I know some people do have problems with the real life game because it's so complicated, because we got 6 different summoning mechanics. I didn't even count rituals, so technically 7 different mechanics, plus like you have the tribute summoning, you have spells and traps and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, the game has gotten really confusing, and I think that what this show is trying to promote is that, like, it's trying to calm the game down, basically, to where it goes back to a more simpler time, so kids can get back into the game, or can get into the game, and old fans of the show can get back into dueling, and then maybe go into that, to more of the higher like dueling, like when it goes to the more summoning mechanics like fusion, synchro XCs, and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of like that in a way. So that was really cool. So yeah, basically they leave there, and I will say though, it's really weird that Roman is back with the gang after everything that happened, which kind of from the preview, it's gonna be. I'm not gonna actually talk about the preview. Never mind. I don't like to talk about previews, because I do a whole series where I actually go over the summaries and the cast list review and all that stuff, and I kind of talk about that. So I'm not gonna talk about it in this video. But we find out what Roman was secret was, and honestly, I'm not surprised, because I thought that was gonna be the thing that she was hiding, and that she didn't want no one to know, was she's tone deaf. And that's really interesting, and I kind of had this feeling I was going to be that from episode 4. If you guys don't remember episode 4, when Gakuto sang really badly, Rook was asking like if he was tone deaf, and you had this weird reaction from Roman, and I think they mentioned it like when they were on that bench. And she was kind of getting offended by that, and I don't think they were noticing it. But Yuga knew it, and I don't know if it's because Roa told him or that he already knew. I mean, Yuga's a smart guy, so I wouldn't be surprised if he already knew that, but it was kind of funny. And then she just like screams no. Unless that means either it was no, or like she couldn't believe they figured it out. Obviously, she can't believe they figured it out, but the last thing I want to talk about in this review, this is the most interesting thing from this entire episode. This just blew my expectations for this episode. At the very end, not even talking about the end credits, at the end of this episode, if you guys, actually let me talk about something beforehand. In episode 6, which was the Mitsuboro episode, Kaizo infiltrates, because remember, Yuga, Gakuto, and Roman were trying to get into this ramen noodle like theme park, and because these robots wouldn't let them in because they looked suspicious, they sent Kaizo in to try to infiltrate. And then we see this, and it was not that very long, and we just see these like towered like AIs basically looking over the people. At the end of this episode, we see like a zoom in closer into the like red eyeball of the thing, and we see a person, and I looked online for this because I noticed the black smidge, and luckily someone posted. Oh, I just looked it up on Google, and apparently someone posted it on Twitter. Basically, there's a person inside of this eyeball. I don't think it was Mr. Goha. I really don't think it was, but it was interesting to see that there's another silhouette character besides Mr. Goha. So I think it's going to be very interesting. Is this going to be the actual main antagonist, or is this going to be some character farther down the line that maybe is either under Mr. Goha or above Mr. Goha? I really don't know. Maybe it's one of the members of Top of Hexagon. Remember, the only member that we've met so far is Mimi, and she's number 6. Like, she is the 6th and the weakest one out of Top of Hexagon. Maybe it's the strongest one out of the 6. Who knows? I'm very excited to find this all about. It was a quick scene. There was really nothing else other than the zooming in. And then the ending. They made a special ending for this, which I really did like. It kind of symbolized the end of a new arc. Almost like the end of a season, to be completely honest. That's what it almost felt like in a way. But really did like the song. I think Roa Roman was the one that performed in this. So I think it was really cool. I really did like the song. And overall, I just really did like this episode. It was a fantastic episode. I have had really low expectations going into this show, and this show has been able to exceed my expectations. I will actually be doing a series where it's going to be called Yu-Gi-Oh! End of Arc, where I'm basically going to be going over all of the arcs going further on, because I think they're going to be easy to tell when the end of the arcs are going to be, because of how or at least every disc, because we know in Japan that Yugioh Sevens is going to be getting their first DVD set, so it's going to be really interesting. It's going to have episodes 1 through 13 of it, and also, if you get the DVD, you can also get a copy of Seven's Road Mage, which was actually summoned in this episode, so that's actually pretty cool, to be completely honest. But I'll basically be giving a reveal now. I'll be like kind of giving it a ranking out of 10 of what I thought of the first arc, kind of talking about like the characters, the duels, and the episodes in general. I'm going to be going over all of that, and then we're just going to continue on with the series going into episode 14. I'm very, very excited to see what this story is going to be telling. I can't wait until we get into some really serious action between Goha Corp and Team Yuga, Team Heroes, I'm going to call them. So, guys, that is going to be it for this episode. It has been a long discussion. I hope you guys have enjoyed this episode review, and let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this episode down below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a really fun arc. I can't wait to see you guys in when I talk about the end of arc series, and I really hope Yugioh Sevens does really well in the future. So thank you guys again so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourself a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.